Merhabalar. Ben Piotr. I am from the European Environmental Bureau. I am based in Brussels. And I thank you very much for inviting me for a few presentations during those days to explain to you what we do and also our recommendations for circular economy. We work very closely with the European Commission, although we represent the civil society. We are the largest network of environmental NGOs, civil society from most countries, including some civil society organizations in Turkey. At the EEB we have a circular economy team, about 9-10 people working daily on different sectors of circular economy. I started 9 years ago with only 2 persons, starting on waste management, but then along with the Commission's priorities and agenda, as it goes forward towards construction, towards textiles, electronics, we expanded so that to in detail share our views in those sectors, because it's becoming very, very detailed. And this conference today is also on one hand is how they show it, a crash course. Yes, but on the other hand, we've already, Romano's presentation, we already went very technical. I would like to bridge a little bit the two approaches. One, the perspective of how this actually started. Federico from the European Commission explained a little bit how it started, but I wanted to share our perspective here too. How was the first circular economy package, then second, and now the third one just 2 months ago. I think it's important for you to have this perspective because you are just about to create your own strategy for circular economy. You are the persons who will have on your shoulders this great objective, this task. So I would like to share a few opinions first before starting explaining unpacking the last circular economy package, which was released only 2 months ago. I wanted to share a few points about the, as we said, crash course on circular economy for those of you who still don't get maybe fully what is really the circular economy. So, yes, it was already in 2012 with the roadmap for resource efficiency. Then later on, the European Parliament that had its own initiatives to do more work on circular economy. They even called their roadmap Zero Waste Strategy. Then it was continued by the commission of Commissioner Potočnik, and then finally in 2015 the final package was released, indeed. But you know, it was focused on waste management. This is very typical. In circular economy, it is indeed about products, durability, ensuring it's the consumers also approach. But it really starts with first with resources, with waste, how to get them back. So we established the targets. They were agreed, then they were implemented. I have a document that is also translated to Turkish, you can find on our website, on how countries are implementing the first circular economy package. So the targets, the recycling targets, 65% recycling target for municipal waste, 75% for packaging, and so on. How also a ban on landfilling and incineration of separately collected waste. There is much more stringent approach now on separation of waste also. Even in the package in 2020, there is an approach to harmonize across EU the separate collection. Not necessarily the same colors everywhere, but harmonize the methodology on how to choose best strategy. I think in Turkey it is also very important that in different corners of Turkey there is a similar approach, how to set up waste separate collection. But that I will come back to that. So just saying that the first package was really focused on waste, targets, bans on burning or landfilling of separately collected waste. There was also a target for food waste prevention, but there are a few presentations later on that will speak more about food waste and so on. But also just to tell you that circular economy is really not only about recycling, and even less, it is not about burning waste at all. It is much more about slowing down the circles, meaning keeping the value of materials and products as long as possible. Short-lived products, single-use items, single-use plastics are not part of a circular economy in this case. The products, the circles in circular economy must also be thin. I would say enough. The sufficiency approach is also important. Even if food is, for example, perfectly compostable, we should not overproduce, overconsume of this, neither. If we look at the hotel today in the breakfast, the abundance of food and how much of this will be lost. Maybe it will be composted, I don't know. Probably even not. But even if it's composted, it is not the approach of circular economy to just throw away totally edible food. And the same for materials. Plastics can be recyclable, but it doesn't mean that we should have too much of it on the market. Same with glass and metals. Localized circular economy is also very important. Yeah. Yes, I know. This is the. I'm sorry. I just repeat once again. I will come back to this to explain the last circular economy package. But before that, wanted to make a picture, background on how those circular economy packages were developed. Because again, you are in front of a big task of creating your own strategy, and how the European Commission, how the European Union developed that is quite important. Localization of circular economy, making the supply chains local. We are trying, with all the approach of circular economy, to make production and consumption local, to get resources locally from Europe. Europe is poor in resources. We cannot afford to have more, very dependent supply chains from China or Ukraine or Russia, because it is going to stop now. We see it quickly, but it's also, it's a very fragile situation in the future. Clean substances. There is also a big part of this new circular economy package is about detoxification of circles. Circular economy is not inclusive, is not sustainable if it still contains materials that are harmful either for human health, for environment, or for recycling itself. There are many materials that hamper substances that hamper recycling. So again, it is important to get rid of them. For example, through digital product passport that will track the existence of those materials, which is part of this new proposal. So in the beginning, the representative of the European Commission delegation in Turkey, she's not here anymore, I think, she said that, yes, Turkey has subscribed to the Paris Agreement, and to achieve those commitments, it is not only about slowly, yavaş. Okay. I'm sorry, and thank you, translators, very much for the effort. To achieve climate goals is not only about energy, substituting coal or fuel. It is much more also about material, about circular economy. It was found by the report of Ellen MacArthur and McKinsey that 45% of GHG emissions, greenhouse gases, is coming from production, mainly from steel, cement, food, and plastics. So without tackling the production and consumption and only focusing on the renewable energy, we will not achieve the climate goals. So that's very important, really. That is also part of the deliberations on climate. Circular economy must be also part of it. But yes, we can create great policies in paper, but it is about implementation. Yeah, I know. I will come back to that. It's still a background. We can create great policies on paper, but without implementation, it is going to be useless. And we see that in Europe. We chase every day 27 member states to apply what they just agreed. And there are many ways to support implementation. It's not only legally, but also financially guidance. And the European Commission is also helping in that. I was hoping that the Commission will explain to you the project called CCRI, Circular Cities and Regions Initiatives, which is exactly a guidance for cities and regions on how to achieve circular economy. And good point, Turkey can also apply in this project. So just note the CCRI, Circular Cities and Regions Initiative. We have translated to Turkish also some materials about the implementation at member states of the best practices of implementation of the first package. And then there was a second package in 2020. After achieving the waste goal, not achieving the waste goals, but after setting the legislation for waste, we realized in Europe that addressing waste means addressing products. It is clear. Everything that we put on the market will become product at some point. And if it's possible to recycle it, to collect it even sometimes, or whether we can extend its lifetime by repair, it really depends on design. That's why this eco-design is very important, and that's why it's important to get also to think not only about the energy use of products, as it was in the initial eco-design directive, but also on the resource efficiency. So there are a few aspects chosen. Batteries, we will have another presentation on that. Packaging, plastics, textiles, construction, water, food, and electronics. And all those seven sectors will be tackled slowly, one by one. Batteries, I will explain another presentation. Plastics, electronics within the eco-design, and construction also in another presentation today or tomorrow. But very important is also waste prevention. And I wanted to distribute, if I can, to you this list. Can I ask somebody to distribute? This list of different steps how to achieve waste prevention. And I will stop here. I will not talk about this more unless you want to talk, then we can talk during lunch or dinner about waste prevention measures. Because really, again, circular economy is not only about recycling, but much more about reducing the volumes so that we can focus better on the difficult parts and improve them. Okay, and now on. Now, yes, let's go to the last package, which was indeed presented 2 months ago. And here we really already focus on the next level of the circular economy, going beyond only waste management, but on eco-design, and also important on the element of the consumer. Consumer choices, consumer empowerment to make choices, sustainable choices. In the same time, we should not put all the blame. I felt that the Commission representatives somehow said that European consumers don't want to repair. I don't know about the Turkish consumers, but my question is, don't we want to repair, or we are not given the opportunity to repair? It is either too expensive, or there are no spare parts, and so on. So there are ways to involve consumers. I will speak about them, but it's not about putting all the responsibility on them. It's to empower them to take good decisions. So we need information, we need labeling, we need some requirements. Also, we need to tackle greenwashing. It is a huge problem, and if not tackled, it is a huge confusion actually for consumers. So there are four main parts of the new package. It is eco-design for sustainable products regulation that reduces life cycle environmental impacts of nearly all product groups, and that is the main goal of the Commission, that address horizontally as many products as possible. Then there is sustainable textiles strategy. Then there is construction products regulation. Similar, those two sectors have been considered as one of the most polluting, textiles and construction. It generates a lot of waste during production as well. Textile strategy, in addition, has a lot of social problems included, because they are usually produced outside Europe with substandard regulations or substandard criteria. And then there is the directive on empowering consumers and green transition. We want to aim to ban greenwashing and misleading green claims. So the first one was making sustainable products the norm. 1 second. A big goal, right? And it's true. European Commission wants to address horizontally, and not only sector by sector, product by product. And it's good because it speeds up the transition, and it reduces the possibility of loopholes. So that some producers will move to another product category and then they will skip the requirements. The Commission also includes consideration about how this new regulation will impact other countries, such as Turkey as well. I think it's very important, and the Ministry of Trade and Economy is also following that, as far as I know. As Turkey is exporting so many different products to Europe, cement, food and textiles and so on, it is important that you align with the regulations, minimum requirements, because otherwise the door for exports will be closed. I would say it's not only align. Let's try to be even better than what the European Commission is trying to do. We have a critical approach to European Commission as well. I have some points that you can read there in the red, which could be included and should be actually improved by the by the Turkish governments. For example, the social aspects, especially maybe here in Turkey, where we have quite a lot of informal sector dealing with waste, which is not similar case in Europe, although we also have this. It is very important that social sustainability is also included. Nobody should be left behind. There is no circular sustainable economy if there are some people or groups of people that are left behind the transition. And same is for Bangladesh and other countries that produce for Europe. So one point I wanted to say also on this is that the European Commission, when developing all this, tries to involve the whole stakeholders forum. And that's an improvement as compared to previous legislations, where it was done in the closed rooms of the European Council. Now different forums and expert groups are open to make the decision. Sometimes it may expand the time to make a decision, but it will really be much more inclusive decision. So this is another recommendation, of course, for Turkey, to open for the civil society, to open to associations of producers and trade unions also, to make those decisions. This is a big part. This is a big point for the European Commission to take into account, because inclusivity is high on the agenda, and it's very important, and we are happy for that. One problem for us is that there are no requirements or no ambition for reduction of material use, material consumption. Europe indeed consumes a lot. That is also because of the purchase power, but this is also because of our lifestyles. Turkey is on the way to get there. You don't generate so much waste yet as the average European, but as I read quickly the statistics, you generate more than Romania or Poland, if the statistics are correct. So you're on the way to get really to a high waste generation, and this is not sustainable. I think this is a moment now for you to put on the agenda binding, mandatory measures to keep low waste generation. Because otherwise you will be like Denmark and Germany and Sweden, that will generate so much waste, and they will have to build, and you will have to build incineration, you will have to build a very expensive material sorting and so on and so forth, instead of aiming to keep the low material waste generation at this level now. For that, you can see the leaflet I just distributed. There are different references to different documents on how to help in that. I think this is the second one. This is eco-design, or no? Yeah, this is eco-design, yeah? Good. So on eco-design, yeah. Before eco-design directive was related only to energy-using products, but now it is aimed to also go towards textiles and furniture, indeed, with minimum market entry requirements, which means that substandard materials, substandard products will not be allowed on the market. If they will be found on the market, they will face penalties. And it's not really only about the products produced in Europe, but all those imported. So indirectly, Europe has an impact on other countries such as Turkey, China, to change their production processes. There is also an important part which is called green public procurement, so how authorities are purchasing, the decisions of authorities. And it's not only huge financial leverage, because these are billions of euros and Turkish liras, but it's also an enabler for producers to change. If they want to sell to the public authorities, to schools, to hospitals, and so on, they have to change. And that enables them, triggers them to change their product processes and find new ways to align with their minimum requirements. The same goes for EU Ecolabel. It's EU Ecolabel, Ecoetiqueta. Is a successful pan-European standard for best-in-the-class products, and that is also part of this new package to drive market incentives. Then also part of eco-design is the so-called digital product passport. So digitalization come into play here. To make circular economy working, we need data. We need to pass the data from producers to user, to the consumer, to the last owner of this, and to the recycler, so that we have all information. What is the product made of? Where are the difficult parts? Where are the spare parts? What are the toxic substances, and where are they located in the product? Think about the car. So and so on. So this digital product passport will contain all the information about also the toxic substances that are in the product to safely dismantle and safely recycle them. So this digital product passport is already embedded in the legislation of the batteries regulation, which is in its last stages. I will speak about that tomorrow. But it will also going to be replicated in other product categories, for example, textiles. One problem, and I hope Turkey can repair it, is in this regulation, online marketing is not addressed. And I'm sure also here, as in Europe, online sales are also skyrocketing. And this is crazy that normal shops and producers' normal shops are addressed to keep track, to align with the regulation, but online shops not. So this is a loophole, and we'll try to change it in Europe, but you can already go further and address that in the first place. So that's it for that. Empowering consumers and green transition. So there are a few directives in. Is that? No, it's not this one. You have this. Okay. So another one. No. So it's about consumers, empowering consumers for the green transition. There should be a slide in a second. First of all, we have to address the problem of false claims, and this is part of this new change in the law to address the greenwashing and early obsolescence. So when product, is that consumers?
Is it about construction?
No, consumers.
Consumers.
Consumers for the green transition. Okay. So there will be a ban on specific greenwashing practices, such as making general green claims when environmental performance of product cannot be demonstrated. So there must be a clear demonstration, data behind. The market surveillance authorities can always ask the producers, what data do you have to support your green claim? And there should be an approach. No data, no market. Meaning, you cannot show data, you are banned from the market. It should be forbidden to lie to people, right? So it is going to be the approach and objective. There is also going to be a list created, a list of specific practices that lead to premature obsolescence of products. It's interesting to know. We would prefer that they are already banned, rather than only listed. But maybe for Turkey is already a good thing for you to have such a list, to see what are the typical practices of producers. For example, using some spare parts that are not on the market anymore, using some parts that are not on the market, you cannot find spare parts, false reparability claims, software updates. For example, you have a smartphone and after 2 years you cannot use it anymore because the software update is not available. You know all this. And these things should be clearly banned. They will be listed as bad in the new legislation, but there is no clear vision yet whether they will be banned. And then there is also going to be greater transparency on the length of commercial guarantees and durability. For example, in France, we have a reparability index. Each consumer can find out on the scale of 1 to 10, I think, on how reparable is this product. And this standard is set by a third party. And it really helps. It really helps to those consumers who would like to have their computer repaired rather than just thrown away, to make this choice to buy this computer and then another one. So those transparency on the commercial guarantees and durability are quite interesting and worth looking into. Apart from the third-party verification, which is good and important, there should also be a very clear requirement that all the criteria, all the data are publicly available. We as consumers, we purchase a product, we should also be owners of the data, owners of the information, what my product is made of. Don't you think so? So the criteria on publicity, publication of the product components, materials. and would be important. And then, yeah, that's it. For textile strategy, quickly, because Mr. Federico from Commission already explained a bit, there will be EPR for textiles. That's interesting. Now, so far we have EPR for packaging, electronics, but having EPR on textiles will enable municipalities to have it financed, separate collection. Also, for you to know, the waste package from 2015, or actually 18, because it was a revision, set up that from 2025 we will have to separately collect textiles. That's obligatory. So it's already now, all the municipalities have to think how to set up collection of textiles separately, because it's a valuable material and should be really back in the cycle. Today only 1% of textiles is recycled into textiles. So this is going to be improved. So EPR is going to finance this, the extended producer responsibility. This is the only way to finance municipalities and recyclers to get this material and to have secondary material at the reason or competitive price. Important also for this EPR for textiles is that the eco-modulation will be part of it. You know, the eco-modulation. So whenever the product has a good environmental performance, the EPR fee is lower, as opposed to a product that is not following best in the class examples, that will be more expensive. So here we have a clear economic incentive. Everybody, all the producers wants to pay less taxes, so they also want to pay less EPR. So this will trigger the move towards more durable textiles and prevention. This accommodated fee for EPR is not only for textiles, I explained textiles here, but it will be also for packaging, for batteries, for vehicles, for many different things too. There is also recognition in the package on textiles that with fast fashion we have more and more fabrics made of plastic, and that creates a huge microplastic problem release through washing to the sea, to the rivers, and then to the sea. So there will be there should be some work developed to contain plastic in our materials, contain it and not make it release, and to avoid releasing it into the environment. Businesses will be also encouraged to reduce the number of collections per year. This is the way to address the fast fashion. As he said from the Commission, fast fashion should be out of fashion. So this is the big goal also of the European legislators, to address the fashion market. There is also encouragement for member states to address textiles through taxation. For example, if we have a low or zero VAT on textile repairs, on repairing textiles, then we can have this market back, this sector. We can have more repairers on the market that will be competing with the fast fashion again. And same can happen to other things, to electronics, to bicycles, to cars, and so on. Well, cars is another story maybe, but in order to improve repair, the taxation is very important. And there are examples. Sweden, for example, is having zero VAT on the labor for repairers. So that's it. What is a problem for us is that there is no social aspects and workers' protection included in this package. And that could be and should be probably the case for Turkey, as the textile sector is very, very large here. Construction, the next part I will skip because of time, and also because tomorrow we have a specific presentation with my colleague about construction. And the eco-design, that's it, yes, the plan, the work plan. What is important and good here is that we are now opening to other products than only those that were 2 years ago, for example, lamps or dishwashers. We are now applying the eco-design also to professional laundry and dishwashers, so the big facility dishwashers, to radiators, to external power supplies, and to electric vehicle engines, chargers. Also important, the printers will be addressed. So far they were not. There was a big opposition from producers, but they are going to be included so that to ensure more resource efficiency of of printers, also including the cartridges of paint, ink in printers. The new plan also recognizes well the challenges to market surveillance, which is generally underfinanced and understaffed. I don't know the situation in Turkey, of course, here, but if we want to have good market protection, and how you say, not market protection, surveillance, to control what is coming on to the market, and to ban products that are not meeting the requirements, we of course need a lot of inspectors and controllers so that the market surveillance really worked. So there will be action to support this, including also the data, again, to facilitate the work of inspectors. All producers who have to possess data on their production available at request immediately. No market, no data, no market. Again, the same approach. This is not clearly included yet in the proposal. We will be working on to include it, but at least the Commission recognizes the challenges. So that's it. That's it on this package. Now, I don't know if you want to know details about. No, I would skip it. How the timing of entry into force, because this is still in the decision. So I would stop here because the construction regulation will have tomorrow and batteries will have tomorrow. So for that I stop, and if you have questions, otherwise we can go to the next presentation. Thank you. Here, thank you. The last part, Ek Bigiler, you have more information, more details about our reactions and recommendations for those parts of the package.
Geliyor mu ses? Evet, geliyor. Çok teşekkürler bu faydalı sunum için. Şunu sormak istiyorum, aslında genel bir soru olacak. Bu paketleri açtığımızda aslında karşımıza çıkan hep bir şöyle bir süreç var diye değerlendiriyorum. Kamu otoriteleri kuralları belirleyecek, evet, ama bunun haricinde bu ürünlerin koşulları sağlayıp sağlamadığıyla ilgili işte bir doğrulayıcı kuruluş mu diyelim, işte bağımsız bir kuruluş mu diyelim, ya da işte bu laboratuvar altyapısı da olan bir sertifika düzenleyebilecek yapılara ihtiyaç var diye anlıyorum. Bunların oluşturulması da çok hızlı ve kolay süreçler değil aslında. Hem hani testlerin standartize edilmesi, hem de bu sertifikasyon, işte bağımsız kuruluşların hayata geçirilmesi anlamında. Bununla ilgili ne düşünüyorsunuz? Hani çok genel bir soru oldu ama sunumunuzda da bazı yerlerde değindiniz. Özellikle Fransa örneğinde mesela. Yani aslında şunu demek istiyorum, işte benim ürettiğim şu ürün için mesela ekonomik ömrü 10 yıldır demem kendi kendime üretici olarak yeterli olmayacaktır. Yani bunun bir otorite tarafından ya da akredite bir yer tarafından aslında doğrulanması gerekecek. Buna baktığımızda ve ürün yelpazesini de değerlendirdiğimizde çok geniş bir iş alanından bahsediyoruz, değil mi? Teşekkür ederim.
Yeah. No, indeed, and I don't know how to answer or to what recommendation to give. For sure, it's much easier to control before it's entering the market, so maybe kind of certification and approval could be a part of it. But it can close the doors to some small producers also, I understand. Maybe another recommendation is to work jointly, not only at the Turkish level, but really coordinate with the Commission, the JRC, which has a lot of laboratories available. So if they already conclude that some products are meeting those criteria, then it's already less work for you. And they can also identify those products that are clearly not meeting the criteria. So you have your homework done. You just ask the Commission, what about this and that? And they may already have information that this contains this substance. You can allow it if you want, but we recommend you not to. So it's on one hand, joint collaboration with different laboratories across Europe or even in the world, And on second recommendation is, I think it's always easier to pre-approve rather than to check on thousands of products that are already on the market. But here I'm aware, I'm not a trade expert, but I'm aware that we also don't want to close doors for small producers, of course. Okay. Çok teşekkürler. And I will be here for another 2 days, so whenever we have questions, I'm happy to share. My contacts are actually on the leaflet you got. There is my Twitter account. You can always connect, or LinkedIn, or with any of my colleagues at the European Environmental Bureau. It's www.eeb.org. Yeah, happy to support you in this great task, and all the best. Thank you.